Hi, and welcome back to Beans and Bezels. Towards the end of 2020, I decided that I was going to slow down the pace of my watch reviews, and while I know I should also speak slower in them, I was mostly referring to the number of reviews I put out each month. I plan to spend 2021 exploring watches that I find personally interesting, while also looking at some more mid range and high end luxury watches. This is likely to mean fewer but more interesting micro brands and a lot more traditional luxury watch brands. In that realm, there's no better brand to kick things off with than Omega. I purchased this watch from Mike, a friend and supporter of this channel, who I must thank for providing so many watches for us to check out here. This is the Omega De Ville Prestige 36.5mm dress watch that I believe was originally purchased in 2012. This watch features the iconic Omega 2500 coaxial movement and is keeping incredible time nearly a decade later. The De Ville collection is overshadowed by the Seamaster and Speedmaster lineups, but these watches have been a silent but successful addition to the Omega catalog. This watch originally retailed for $3,300 but could be found between $2,000 to $2,500 at your nearest grey market dealer. Let's check it out. I measured the case to be 36.25mm in diameter, 40.5mm from lug to lug, and 8.5mm tall. The case is made of stainless steel and is entirely polished except for the vertically brushed caseback. The case has an almost bowl-like concave profile, which is very elegant and well accented by the polished surfaces. A pair of short but quite classically styled lugs extend out of the case and curve downwards, with a lug width of 18mm. There is a beautiful fixed bezel that is accentuated by means of multiple subtle steps and seats of flat sapphire crystal. There is a signed push-pull crown at the 3 o'clock position that is 4mm in diameter, but not too difficult to hold and operate. The crown and stem action is incredible, and interacting with this movement is wonderful. Flipping it over, you have a solid press-fit case back that has the brand's logo etched onto it, along with coaxial escapement and the serial number. This watch is rated for up to 30 meters of water resistance, which isn't a surprise given that it is a dress watch. Over the last few months, I've realized that I suck at photographing silver dials, so please take my word for it when I say that this dial looks beautiful in person. It's got a two-tone texture with very fine concentric rings on the outer silver track and vertically brushed metal inner dial section. The outer track has applied Roman numeral hour indices that are high-polished stainless steel and could also be rhodium plated. The polishing is excellent and the proportions are perfect. You have a date window at the 3 o'clock position that isn't framed with polished steel, but instead is cut out into the dial with sloped surfaces. I'm not a fan of 3 o'clock date windows, but I think this one is much better executed than the Tudor style that I reviewed recently. The brand's logo is applied under the 12 o'clock index and has excellent polishing and finishing. The handset is a traditional Dauphine style pair with two polished surfaces and a uniform and well executed finishing. The dimensions are great and this watch is very easy to read. Overall, I think this dial is beautiful. I love the sector dial style of the outer hour track, and the applied Roman numerals really make this watch. I love the styling, and if I wore dress watches more often than once in 5 years, I'd probably keep this for myself. This watch uses the Omega 2500 movement, which is a modified version of the ETA 2892. I love the ETA 2092 on its own, and this one gets the Omega treatment with Omega's coaxial escapement. I believe it is also the first commercial movement to use the coaxial escapement. This design was invented by the late George Daniels, who then sold it to Omega. The caseback is closed, but beneath this is a well-decorated and rhodium-plated movement that is chronometer certified. This watch was originally sold in 2012, and I'm unaware of its service history, but I put it on my time grapher and observed roughly plus 2 seconds per day in the crown up and dial up positions. Pretty damn impressive if you ask me. I believe Joma Shop was selling this as a ladies' watch, but I'm not sure Omega intended it for that to be that way. The case is small at 36.5mm in diameter, but this is a pretty typical size for most traditional dress watches and wears great on my 6¼ inch wrist. The short lugs allow this watch to have a compact 40.5mm lug to lug width, which is further made more comfortable with the 8.5mm height. I think this watch will look appropriate as a dress watch for wrist sizes up to 8 inches, if you're going for a traditional dress watch aesthetic, that is. This watch ships with an Omega alligator leather strap with a polished and signed buckle. The quality of the strap is excellent and it wears well for a dress watch. The strap tapers from 18mm at the lugs to 16mm at the buckle. I'm not a dress watch guy. I don't wear fancy clothes and I spend most of my life in pajamas at my computer, even before COVID made that the norm. At any given point of time, you're unlikely to find a dress watch in my collection. But this watch made me rethink that choice, and I'm very tempted to keep this. To be able to own an Omega coaxial movement for well under $2,000 in a watch that is as good looking as it is comfortable is very tempting. So my concluding thoughts would be, if you like this style and can find one of these pre-owned and in good condition, you're getting a stunning watch for the money. As always, thanks for watching, and don't forget to read my other reviews in the link below.